president has a big stick. Listen, we choose truth over facts.
Check my shake on it. Let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do.
One man stands ready to deliver change we desperately need. A man I'm proud to call my friend. A man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack Obama.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States of America, Barack Obama. We can speak out and be more straightforward. I'm not going to be a mule. I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be Vice President of the United States of America. Let's get that straight. And quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me, but she's first rate.
I know I'm called middle class Joe. It's not meant as a compliment. Means I'm not sophisticated. I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
Damn liar, man. That's not true. I can get things done. That's why I'm running. If you want to check my shake on it, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do.
To the word united. To the number 30330. 30330. Or 303-330. Or BOO. Wait. You got it. That saves billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of I think it's $2.3 billion worth of, $500 billion in savings and 2-point-something billion metric tons of CO2 going in the air. Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1,600 billion worth. $1,400 billion worth. Out of $1,400 billion, $1,400 billion. It's hard to even say it so much. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years. Now is the time to heed the timeless advice from Teddy Roosevelt. Speak softly and carry a big stick. End of quote. I promise you, the president has a big stick. I promise you.
Joe, you want to administer the oath?
Am I doing this again? My memory is not as good as Justice Roberts. I was a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids. In Delaware, the largest population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. His mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so. God rest her soul. And although your mom's still alive as your dad passed. God bless her soul. I agree that everybody, once they, in fact, they should. Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Vice President.
Main Street to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. Among many qualified people, I'm the best qualified person for this job. I'm beginning to see why your wife left you. Why is that? Why? You're getting nervous, man. COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it. You know, the rapidly rising, I don't know. I just spoke at Dartmouth on healthcare at the medical school, or not, I guess I wasn't actually on the campus, but the people from the medical school were at the, I want to be clear, I'm not going nuts. I'm not sure whether it was a medical school or where the hell I spoke, but it was on the campus. I propose, and I'm going to digress slightly,
We're in a situation, the president asked me to head up a cancer moonshot in another country and annex a significant portion of it called Crimea. Right. He's saying that it was my loss, it was his fault.
Guatemala, El Salvador, and to win and say in Honduras and say, look, I took on Putin in terms of Iraq. In terms of what was going on in Ukraine. By strengthening, by investing $100 billion in education, in global warming efforts, and a whole range of things. We can't afford it by just eliminating, beginning to reward work as much as well. It get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. If you want to protect yourself, get a double-barrel shotgun. Have the shells and 12-gauge shotgun. Don't jump. Hey, look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. To say that LGBTQ people have no civil rights. No man has a right to raise a hand to a woman in anger. We have to just change the culture, period, and keep punching at it and punching at it and punching at it. It will be a big... No, I really mean it. And immediately change the law in the state of Delaware protecting transgender people. We have to eliminate the funding gap that exists between minority white and majority white and non-white districts. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Man, you're hard to keep up with.
Keep it right up there. But after a good workout, gotta drink up.
All right.
Otherwise, we're gonna be in trouble with Jill and Michelle.
Just let Michelle know I did.
Same time next week?
Same time next week.
All right.
You got a real dilemma, Mr. President.
I can't go every day, can I?
Which you like better, these or these?
Joe, they're the same.
You capture different moves. I didn't get a chance to flash shift in a second. I was afraid I'd go through those guys. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take you behind the gym and beat the hell out of him. Corruption. Trump was out there tweeting again this morning. I call him President Tweety. Well, Trump is pursuing a damaging and erratic trade war without any strategy, by the way. This guy is moving to foment hate. But President Trump and the demagogues around the world, if Donald Trump is reelected, he doesn't want to shed light. He wants to generate heat, and he's stoking violence in our cities. As well as my mental fitness.
I see them dancing when they're 4 years older, too.
I'm looking forward to this, man. You walk behind me in a debate. Come here, man.
Why should people want to make a change, though?
Well, that's up to them to decide.
Why should they?
It's for them to decide.
Well, make your case.
I'm not going to. We can't rebuild our economy and meet this climate crisis, exacerbating the need for environmental justice. Sorry, as a bug. Speaking of the environment. We need to work again with Canada and Mexico as neighbors, not as adversaries. Donald Trump does pose an actual threat to this. It's not hypothetical. There's things that are worth dealing with China tough on. That makes it far more durable, reliable, and powerful. And partnerships built on coercion. Because if you could take care, you were a quartermaster, you can sure and help take care of running a department store thing, where in the second floor of the ladies' department. You know what I mean? What makes this his wild claims and hopes. He now hopes we don't notice what he said or won't remember. And when he does follow through, or doesn't do, we'd follow through the exact opposite. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happened? The way China will respond is when we gather the rest of the world that in fact believes in free in open trade and making sure that we're in a position that the world that we deal with WHO the right way. That in fact that's when things began to change. I looked at it anyway. That's what I think my plan. I know what my plan does. I mean. No, but I mean, it's not about, I know you're supporting by saying booing, but look, here's the deal. And I had a nurse nurses at Walter Reed Hospital who would bend down and whisper in my ear. Wow. Go home and get me pillows. They would make sure they'd actually, probably nothing ever taught in, you can't do it in the COVID time, but they'd actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move, to get me moving. So you don't make somebody else sick. Sick. What's with this guy? Well, the only thing we can do about it is be prepared. We have a whole group of lawyers who are going out to every voter registration physician in the states, the secretaries of state, making sure that they, in fact, have a game plan as to how they're going to allow the voting to take place. You know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, soon to be. Estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk. Unnecessarily, now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. That's why I made it a priority my entire career to work closely with you. From the time I got to the Senate 180 years ago, as well as my tenure as vice president. 1787, United States Constitution. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work. It's a joke. You know where we were anyway. But welcome to the nation's Constitution Center. I had the great privilege of being a guest leader of this outfit for a year. It's an appropriate place to make the speech I'm about to make. Great. Hey everyone, I'm Joe Biden's husband. But the truth is, she's the strongest person I know. She's a backbone like a ramrod. That's the kind of first lady, this Jill Biden will be. God love you. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. So I couldn't tell anybody but Barack. You don't have here in Miami, in Florida. You don't have that is, if you